Hi, everyone. Guess who's back? Jenny and I are back. It's been almost a year. We apologize for taking so long. Personal matter kept us off the internet for a little while. So please forgive us if we didn't get to your pictures in time for this year's San Diego County Fair exhibition. But we're going to look at them now and maybe we can help you out, or maybe you can drop a line in the notes in the comments and let us know how your images did in the fair if you did submit them. So Jenny, how are you doing today?
Oh, okay. It's a
Good.
Friday anyway.
Good. So we're back at it. We're going to try to get to your images, every couple of weeks, like we've done in the past. A couple of reminders I just wanted to start with is remember, judging is very subjective. It is an individual preference or our experience out there judging. Both Jenny and I have judged for the San Diego County Fair multiple times, and so we kind of know what they're looking for, and that's how this whole podcast or this whole Zoom YouTube videos started, just to help you out with what you are going to be submitting, and other people are submitting, not or other people are engaging with us that aren't submitting to the fair. So we're trying to be very subjective when we talk about the images, and just know that don't take it personally. Maybe just take a little bit from that and improve your images. The next thing I kind of wanted to mention, I was talking to Jenny about, is not everyone is turning in images with metadata attached to it, and that's your right, your preference, whatever you want to do, but it does help educate the viewers if you do keep at least the ISO, your shutter speed, your aperture in there. We can talk about that and hopefully help others as they view these YouTube videos. And then the third thing was sizing. I know we've asked everybody to size their images at 1920 pixels, if you know how to do that. But I noticed that a couple of our images coming up were not. They were small thumbnails, about 300 pixels for the longest size. So I had to up res them to go and look right on this YouTube channel. So you may see a little bit of softness to a couple of images. So again, if you send them to us at 1920 on the longest size, that would behoove you and our experience with the image itself. So let's get started. Thank you all for tuning in.
Well, one
Jenny?
thing we also talked about before you started was putting not just metadata, but your copyright information.
Yes.
And you can do that with your camera. At least most modern cameras can set them up and you can have it automatically attach your name to your photo. And if not, when you upload it to your computer, whatever program you're using, you can have it do it at that point so that it's automatically in your metadata on all your photos.
And that's a good thing to have done because people are out there, they might be wanting to contact you to purchase an image, or they want to know more about your image, and that way they can find you if you've got your copyright on those images. Typically, sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. And Google stocks away that information too. That would be a good reason to leave it in there or not. So it's up to you.
And it protects, it identifies it as your image, whether you've registered it or not.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, those are some
Enough of
points.
that.
Yeah, enough of that. All right, Jenny, let's go to the first image. And do you want to take it or do you want me to?
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
So a couple things about this image. I love the blue and the yellow. They're a nice combination. It's always a good contrasting color, blues and yellows. Some of the things, I think this is one of the ones that Sandy had to upres. Excuse me. So it's not especially crisp. Um, and it's hard to tell what we're supposed to be looking at between the bird and the surfer. You've got two different things going on. It's kind of nice. There's a diagonal, an implied diagonal between the two, but it's still kind of confusing. There's a few distracting. One, you can't see the surfer's other arm. So that's a little distracting. I mean, it's there. I can see it in the shadows, but first glance, you don't see it. Um, Another thing, if I can call up the little draw button here, there's distracting element down here in the corner. Um, look at your borders. Those kinds of things are easy to get rid of. And Sandy, I'll let you point out any of the things that jump to your mind.
Yeah, a couple of things that you didn't mention is again the borders down at the very bottom in the middle. There's that white foam that I don't like there. Of course, that takes my eye down to that foam. I don't, most people, again, we've talked about this a long time ago in past episodes. White attracts the lightest part of the scene, attracts the eye. So that draws my eye down when it really wants to be in that nice surf at the very top. Um, like Jenny said, two subjects. And what worries me about that bird is the fact that it's flying out of the frame, where you've got your surfer with a lot of room to move in front of him. The bird is almost out of the frame. It's like almost an afterthought. I do like the complementary colors of blues and golds. I just don't think I'd like to see it at a larger size before I, make judgment on the whole thing. But it is soft because they did have to upres this from almost like a thumbnail to what we're seeing right now. And I do that so we have a nice view of the whole image instead of just looking at a little piece in the middle when we put these through our Dropbox that we use for this program. So yeah, I don't think that this would make the first cut at the fair. Personally, I don't think so. The horizon's in the middle, and I wish maybe if the bird was cropped out, you might have a little more an implied movement of the surfer if you cropped it down to a pano. You know what I mean, Jenny?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I actually find the bird more interesting than the surfer, so I'd rather
Okay.
give it to him.
Okay.
But
And
yeah,
I'm sure that the maker is a great photographer. So I'm not sure what the intention was here. So we know this person that sent in the image and, just a wonderful photographer. I'm not really crazy about the image myself. I think, Jenny, would you agree with me? It wouldn't probably make the first round.
no, I don't think it would. The competition's really stiff, and if this was put in sports,
Yeah,
it
that's right.
would be hard pressed to make it past the first round because they have some pretty incredible sports, and it certainly wouldn't go in bird because that's not the main subject. So if you're shooting for the fair, you really need to nail in the category, what it is that makes that category, if you want it to go to second tier.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's do the next one.
Okay. All right. It was working just fine before. There we go.
There we go. We do a test run.
Yeah, and our test run wasn't working very good. Okay, you're up first this time.
Okay. This one, the maker mentioned that they wanted it in architecture at the fair. And again, like Jenny said on the last image, it really has to be competitive. And I'm not sure that I would see this in architecture. Um, I like the scene for a nice farm scene, that type of thing, but I'm not sure that it is specific enough in showing off the architecture. I think you needed to get in close to one of those buildings, or two of them, or something that had some nice contrast. It's a nice image, but I don't think this one would make it to the first round either. Plus, there's a lot of foreground that doesn't tell me anything. All that dead grass in the foreground, that part doesn't add to the story for me. Um, but Jenny, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Architecture, again, you got to really dial in, and it's just about architecture, whereas this is about many more things. It's about the farm, and it's about the overgrown nature of the whole place with the overgrown buildings, the overgrown vehicles. Um, there's just too much going on for it to fit in that category. One option would be if you moved in and focused on the vehicles, you might have a better chance in the all things mechanical category. Um, the buildings don't qualify for that category, but anything that's mechanical would be a consideration in that. But again, this has too much going on to fit that category as is. You would need to focus and step in and get closer and you know hone in on what it was you want to say with this image.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything else?
Nope, I think it covers it. Thanks.
Okay. And oh, and this one you were talking about also suffers the having to upres it, which
Yes.
makes it soft all around, but we're assuming it was nice and crisp before it got upres.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed if I have the annotation tool on, it doesn't let me scroll. Alrighty.
All right. My turn?
Yeah. You went first on that one. So I guess
Then you go ahead. No argument.
um a very nice pier shot. It's got nice lighting, the implied diagonal, well, the actual diagonal. It's a nice angle, a nice choice of the position of the photographer. The star flares on the lights are nice. They've sometimes, I mean, a lot of times you'll see them a lot crisper, sharper, but you know, they can bring another dynamic nature to the image. I like the shutter speed. I don't think there was any metadata to show us what it was shot at, but obviously it's something slow because the water's nice and soft and wispy. It's a pleasing image overall to look at. I don't see anything I can really nitpick as far as, there's a couple, the edges on the right, there's a couple little light spots that, maybe come in on that pier piling so you don't have the sky showing through in just a little sliver, but that's pretty minor. I don't know. What did your eyes see, Sandy?
Well, I did notice, because you brought it to my attention, the comment in the lower right-hand corner. So we know who the maker is on this
Yeah,
one.
it does have
And
that.
who is another wonderful photographer. So, no criticism. I think it was the atmosphere might have had something to do with this image, a lot to do with this image and the sharpness of it. I think probably it was just a little bit of moisture in the air that could have that if you're down there, that's what you get, right? You're going to shoot what you get. But I think the moisture probably took away a little bit of the crispness of the lights and the starburst. I like the whole thing. I just feel that it's so accessible to so many photographers. We've seen it more times than we would like to see it at the fair. But it's, if you think you've got that one that's going to wow the judges, definitely put it in. And I think you've done a really good job with this image. like Jenny said, the shutter speed's nice and slow. You can tell that from that really soft water look. Um, so it's a great image. I would love to have it in my portfolio. So yeah. And I don't know, would you think this would make it first round only because we see that so much? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know because I mean, it would probably be in seascapes, would be the appropriate category. And a lot of the judges here are just tired of seeing piers because we see so many of them. Um, so it has to be a really over the top image to make it, um, just because of it being such a common subject for this area.
And it
So
just, again,
yeah, I don't know.
depends on who's judging that, that
Yeah,
cat.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's not us. It's usually not us.
no, we usually either one of us is on more wildlife topics. So yeah, we wouldn't be on this one necessarily.
Yeah. So
Okay.
great. All right. All right, Chicks Talking Pics. If you have images that you'd like to send in, we'd love to see them. We're back at it, and
We're
we're
back.
yeah, we're recording on a regular basis now. So please, again, I apologize for being off for a while, but things happen in life, and so but we're back. So there. Make sure that you size your images at 1920 pixels on the long side. Put them in a JPEG format. Same old thing we've said in other episodes. And just send them into chickstalkingpics@gmail.com. Appreciated.
Yeah. And while you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the little reminder button, the little bell, and you'll get notified when we do our next episode.
A little subscribe button. Yeah.
Yeah, the subscribe
But
button.
and Jenny, we have to say this. We are recording this, we're at the end of May, so this recording will come out quickly. We are both Jenny and I are doing a Chicks Talking Pics live episode at the San Diego County Fair on June 21st at 4 p.m. So we're asking for people to send in their images so that we can use them in that episode. We have a few. We're looking for more. We'll probably get through, what would you say, maybe 15, 20 images, somewhere in that time frame. It's an hour. And so
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere around there. We'll
Depending
go
how much we
quicker.
talk about them.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Uh, and so we welcome you to come to the fair and see us talk live about your images. And so send them in, same place, chickstalkingpics@gmail.com. And I would say that's it. Jenny, how about you? Anything
Okay,
else?
sounds
Okay.
good. That's a
All
wrap.
right. All righty, you guys have a good evening or day or whatever, whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay,
All
bye.
right. Bye.